Another edition of the American Firearms Association live show tonight. We are talking about the monster gun control bill that has just been introduced in Illinois. It's massive. It's something you'd see in New York, in California, in Maryland, in these hardcore left-wing blue states, guys. First of all, first things first, pound that like button, pound that share button, and let us know in the comments section where you are watching from. I have with me here tonight our Director of State Political Affairs, Aaron Doerr, who has been closely watching the situation in Illinois. Aaron, break this bill down for everybody who's on here watching tonight, and just go line by line if you can, or segment by segment there.
Yeah, this is about as bad as it gets. This is what you expect to see from a hardcore communist state, a hardcore communist governor like Governor Pritzker in Illinois. HB 5855 is a combination of a whole bunch of things wrapped into one great big omnibus terrible bill. Number one, though, and the key of this is a complete and permanent ban on all semi-auto firearms that are magazine fed that shoot center fire ammunition. So you all know what that means. It's your AR-15, but it's everything else. It's almost every single semi-automatic firearm ever made would be banned going forward in Illinois. And any violation, first offense, is a felony. That is number one. That's the heart and soul of this bill. Of course, is an absolute ban on all magazines that hold over 10 rounds of ammunition. And before I even get into this too much deeper, a lot of times there are some people in the gun rights space that say, well, I've already got mine. Here's the deal. These tyrants know that. This bill already deals with the grandfather clause. There is no grandfather clause. You will register the current firearms that you have and the mags that you have. And if you don't, if you miss a single magazine, felony charge for you. So that's number two in the bill. They're going to ban all 50 caliber firearms, a phenomenally fun firearm to shoot. They're going to raise the age on the FOID card. If you're from Illinois, you know what the FOID card is. If you're not, the FOID card is basically your permit from the government to breathe in Illinois. So you have to have a FOID card to buy a firearm. Hell, you need a FOID card to buy a box of 22 shells at an Ace hardware store. And they're going to raise the age on that to 21. So your 20-year-old daughter would not be able to buy so much as a 22 rifle in her new apartment when she moves out of your house because she's not old enough yet in Governor Pritzker's mind to get a firearm. It goes on, raising the age on buying guns, red flag gun seizure expansion. It's truly an Armageddon level gun bill, which is becoming the norm now in deeply blue states like Illinois.
Aaron, there's 13 million people in the state of Illinois. I was watching some of the hearing today that was taking place in Chicago about 10 o'clock this morning, went for hours. There was a bunch of red shirt radical commie mommies in there. 2.5 million gun owners in the state of Illinois. Or FOID card owners, I think is what they call them there. Yep. I think you know a little bit about that better than I do. But the question of enforcement and everything else. Well, I don't even want to get to that. One problem we have in states like Illinois, sometimes, and I'm not being critical of guys there, because a lot of you guys out there are fighting like hell to stop this stuff in your communist blue states. But I think we hear it from legislators, we hear it from gun owners. Oh, they're going to beat us. Oh, they're going to do this. Oh, we shouldn't do that. Well, either get your ass out of there and move somewhere else, or fight like hell with everything you have. And everything's on the table here, Aaron, from the legislature to the courtrooms, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we don't deal with that, that's why we're so focused on Illinois right now. If we don't deal with these fights in these blue states, guess what? Those resources from the radical left, from Bloomberg, from Joe Biden, from the DOJ will move on to purplish states and eventually move on to our red states. This is them tactically moving to the path of least resistance. But if we cede that ground, if we just give it to them, if we hand it to them, well, they're going to move right on to the rest of our freedom-loving states next. And the bottom line is, I grew up in Iowa. I know a massive number of people in Illinois who are absolutely freedom-loving, God-loving, flag-waving patriots. For those who've not been to Illinois, you might think it's all Chicago. That's the problem. Cook County has an outsized influence. But once you leave that shithole and get 20 minutes south, it is a beautiful, freedom-loving place full of wonderful people who want to be just left the hell alone by an out-of-control government. That is the peace that Governor Pritzker is trying to break with this legislation.
Aaron, I've envisioned, I've never done it myself, but all you guys who are from the Midwest and you're traveling across the country, I mean, I hear stories of guys, and I've probably heard it from you and your brothers and family members. You will literally go around the state of Illinois, maybe when you get to St. Louis, or I don't know how you go down, so you don't have to go through that communist state with your firearms. I mean,
depends on what you're carrying. Yeah, depends on what you're carrying, and that's the thing here. I mean, if this passes, and a 15-round magazine is a felony, every single American who passes through that state is liable to receive charges. And I think it's important to note there's a long-standing tradition in the gun rights community that we have to be deferential no matter what to the law enforcement lobby. And if there was ever a time when we now can see the truth about where these lobbyists ordinarily come down, it is certainly the case right now, tonight, testifying right now in committee in Springfield, Illinois. The sheriffs are opposed to this, and thank God for that. But every single big city police chief is there demanding passage of a bill that would allow them to put all of us in prison. And we see this happen time and time and time again. And we're for AFA's purposes, hey, if you are a constitutional cop, if you love freedom, if you want to uphold your oath, we're down with that, man. If you are one of these political appointees who hates the Second Amendment, who hates freedom, and who wants to use your badge as a lever to help them disarm the American population, screw off. You have no respect. The respect is not given around here. It's earned. And many of these sheriffs right now, they've earned it. Many police chiefs right now in Illinois, they have spat in the face of their own constituents.
Yeah, I was watching some of the hearing today, Aaron, and one of the people who testify, they said 70 counties have these sanctuary counties.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have any teeth, but that goes to what you were saying. We were on a call with a bunch of legislators the other day, and I think you asked the pointed question: surely there's some rural seats or rural Democrats or whatever, they do exist, who potentially would have problems with this. And that is why, when we deal with this apathy from gun owners and apathy from gun groups, we shouldn't fight this or we shouldn't do anything. Here at the American Firearms Association, we're spending thousands of dollars right now of your membership dues and your contributions in the state of Illinois, running ads, mobilizing gun owners, getting them to make their calls, signing petitions, and getting involved in the fight, guys. And that's why, before we get back into this discussion, even if you're not in the state of Illinois, there's a link right here on the camera or on the video here, joinafa.org. Join up with the American Firearms Association today. It's fast, it's simple, it's safe, it's secure. $35 a year, less than 10 cents a day. Part, of course, of your membership dues are going to go into states like Illinois, whether that be a legislative battle, a courtroom battle, or a battle in Congress in Washington, D.C. Join up tonight. Joinafa.org. Get involved in the fight. Aaron, the timetable for this, we're talking, I don't know if you remember the exact dates. If you don't, I can help you fill in, but let everybody out there know the timetable.
It's going to happen by January 10. They're in lame duck session right now, which means they're post-election. A lot of folks who are not coming back to Springfield are out. They're not going to come back after January 10. The new session begins January 11. So they're going all in on this right now. And for a lot of folks, though, I want to make sure we're really clear on this. Nothing's ever over till it's over. And the fact of the matter is that, there might be a bunch of, ghouls in Springfield right now. And of course, the governor is a demented tyrant piece of trash. There's a whole lot of other Democrats that have to deal with the reality, which is that I represent a rural district, a swing district. If it was as easy as just simply banning them, they could have done that 5 years ago. They could have done that 10 years ago. They're scared about this. If they weren't scared, it had happened a long, long time ago. This is not California. This is not New York. It may be heading that way, but the bottom line is that if it was easy, this would have been done a long time ago. This fight is not over, and the pressure we're bringing to bear right now in Springfield may be the difference maker in this fight because, again, January 10 is the cut. If they lose that fight, we go right back in a new fight beginning January 11, but the pressure, it needs to be at an apex right now.
Guys, if you're just now tuning in from our nationwide email alert list here at the American Firearms Association, or if you just come on being alerted on our social media pages, let us know down there in the comments section where you're watching from. And if you're from Illinois, comment down in that comment section. Let us, well, Tony there is from Illinois, says he goes to church in Indiana and making plans to move to Indiana. But if you're going to stay there in Illinois, you're fighting this battle, let us know down there in the comments section. Aaron, this guy Pritzker, I don't know how much you know about the governor. Somebody we were talking to the other day that said, oh, he's going to run for president and this and that. This guy is rich. He is rich as hell. He has a transgender something or other brother. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
no surprise.
Yeah. And they're very, very, very wealthy people. And this guy is trying to stake, I guess, his political future on this. They had the shooting up there northwest of Chicago over the summer.
Yeah,
and so that's the impetus for this, right? It's a very wealthy community, and they're pushing the hell out of this. But they can be pushed back on, and that's what we're out to do here at the American Firearms Association.
And these guys they're convinced that America has turned, that America now embraces, all the tyranny of the last century. I mean, this is the kind of bill this is my favorite phrase right now, Patrick. Chairman Mao, from China, the late Chairman Mao, all the rest of the tyrants from last century, Khrushchev, all of them, Stalin, they're sitting there right now in hell, clapping their hands in unison saying, yes, this is the kind of stuff that we did by force. And you guys, Governor Pritzker, you can do it through the democratic process. Rock on, brother tyrant, rock on. These people truly believe that the American people have given up, surrendered our freedoms, and that we're okay with being disarmed or being made into felons. And we all know that's not the case right now. We have to keep that pressure on high. Patrick, we've got a video feed here that I wanted to play to show people what a demented tyrant this guy is, number one. But number two, as is always the case, just how stupid they are. Listen to him describe how many cartridges fit into a bullet, trying to describe magazines. Here's a video feed from just last week, I believe it is, with Governor Pritzker on CNN with Jake Tapper. Here we go.
I think that there are probably three things that need to be looked at here. One is changing some of the verbiage in the law on red flags so that something could have been filed that would have prevented the FOID card from being issued. That's one. Two is that we need to ban assault weapons, not just in the state of Illinois, but nationally. And then third, high-capacity magazines. There's no reason why someone should have 90 bullets at the ready, 30 in each of the cartridges that he used. And that's just something that I don't think civilians should have. And I've talked to police since this shooting who would tell you that the size, the caliber of the bullets that were being fired is much larger than the size, caliber, and speed of bullets that even police carry with them. Why do civilians need this? The name of the weapon that this shooter was using is the Smith & Wesson M&P 15. M&P 15. You know what M&P stands for? Military and police. And that's who perhaps should have these weapons, not civilians being able to just walk in and buy one.
I mean, this guy is the same as every other loser who tries to talk about firearms. They have no idea what they do. They have no idea how a gun works. They have no idea what a bullet means. They don't know what a cartridge means. They don't know what a magazine means. And that's the point. This is not about education. The goal here for us at AFA is not to explain to them what firearms mean, how they work, why we should have them. These people are tyrants. This is just a very simple power grab. Their goal is very clear: to disarm the people of Illinois, disarm their political opponents. And that's the goal. This is not about stopping crime. It never has been.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at this guy Pritzker, Aaron. He's probably never held a firearm in his life other than at some hearing to, disarm everybody. But he's worth $3.6 billion. The Pritzkers, Governor Pritzker, they own the Hyatt Hotel, the Hyatt Hotel chain. So this guy's going all in. He wants to run nationally. Aaron, I know you were going to run this show hard. I've got to cut out here just a few minutes. I don't know if you want to recap for everybody here tonight. Everybody who's joining us, I know they're going to keep coming in all night off of our nationwide email alert list, but why don't you do a great recap of this, and I will see you guys just as soon as we can get back on here, probably tomorrow night, guys. I'll see you later.
Hey guys, again, for all those who are getting on in the last few minutes, we're talking about the biggest gun control bill ever filed in Illinois right now. This bill would do all of the things they want to do all at one time. They're using the Highland Park shooting from July as their way to move this bill through. Number one, the heart and soul is a complete ban on the AR-15, but not just that. It's every single semi-automatic firearm that is magazine fed that shoots center fire ammunition. So it's your AR-15, but it's hundreds of similar firearms. Basically, every semi-automatic rifle right now in the state, absent your 22s, your Model 60 rimfire 22s, everything else is gone. It's also a complete ban on all magazines over 10 rounds of ammunition, gone. And again, to keep one is a felony. I want to be very clear on that. To keep one, if it's unregistered, is a felony. They're going to raise the age on when you can buy a firearm by making the FOID card only applicable to 21 years of age or above. So, if your 20-year-old son is home on leave from the military and he touches a firearm in the backyard, it's a felony for him. If your daughter, who's 20, defends herself in your house with your gun against an armed home invading wannabe rapist, felony charge for you, honey. That's the reality of these bills. Expanded red flag laws, raising the age. It goes on and on and on. It is the Armageddon level gun bill that we've come to expect in so many blue states that are pissed off that the Bruin decision solidified and protected these rights even further.
Yeah, Aaron, can you see me now, man? I don't know if I cleared up at all. I think I might be having a little bit of a technical issue.
It's kind of in and out a little bit. I think one of the big things here when it comes to these AR-15s, if you have to go, I get that. That's fine, Patrick.
No, it's cool.
One of the big things when it comes to these AR-15s, and people always ask us, why do you need one? Well, our first answer always, as always, is we don't have to give a reason. These are God-given rights that supersede our courts, our constitutions, our founding documents, our founding fathers. It's an inherent right. But what's interesting right now is that in the Bruin decision and some of the cases that have stemmed from that, the judges themselves now are using a common use standard, which is a very common legal structure to use. And they asked the question in the Bruin decision, the judges said, last year there was more AR-15s sold in America than F-150 Ford pickups. And so the court was asking the lawyers in New York State who were arguing the Bruin decision, how is this not the definition of common use? And so we don't adopt that standard as our moral authority. It's certainly a great question. How do they functionally, literally intend to enforce this? There's between 20 and 40 million AR-15s in America right now. And if you add on all of the similar firearms, there could be 50, 60, even 70 million semi-automatic, large caliber, magazine-fed firearms. These people are simply trying to gin it up where all of us are walking, talking felons that can be snatched up at any moment.
Yeah, and that's really what was hinging on this hearing today. And I know these politicians only listen so much to what the people are saying, but it was just over and over, and they weren't answering the question. How would you even enforce this? Now, I don't like fighting from that point about
right. Exactly.
It's just a loser mentality. But at the same time, it's like one of the guys said, "What are you going to do? Go door to door?" Literally door to door on 2.5 million gun owners. But the reality is that the law, if passed, and I'll have to go back and check the exact statistics, it said you have, if it were to become law, between 80 and I think 330 days to go down to your sheriff's office or however they do it there in Illinois, and register your firearm. It is literally get in line and register your firearm, or you are a criminal, you're a felon, whatever the penalties are. We got to dig into that. But this is bad stuff. Looking at 2023 now from a national political perspective, I think the Democrats are thinking that, wow, we did a hell of a job in November. We barely lost the House. I think I saw a stat a couple weeks ago that said there was only like a net of 5 to 10 Republican pickup seats all over the country. So these Democrats are emboldened. So if you're not in Illinois, if you're in California, if you're in a blue state or a kind of blue state, any state where Democrats have control, out in Arizona, you now have a Democrat governor, tiny Republican majorities, Nevada, everywhere. Oregon is dealing with tremendous issues at the moment.
Yeah.
Washington has bad issues. It is going to get nasty. And we're not out of the woods just because of the decision in Washington, D.C., and we're not going to sit back and rest on our laurels saying, oh, go ahead and pass a bill and we'll just overturn it in the courts. Okay, no, we're not playing that game. It is an option, but we're not going to play that game. And that's why gun owners need to be hardcore grassroots activists wherever you are. And Aaron, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the offensive plays that are coming up in 2023 in some of these red states across the country, some of the things that our state legislative team is working on, and you're leading those fights.
Well, that's your point was well said. I mean, like, this is why we have to push in whatever state you're in. We want the red states to be redder than the Nile River. We want these red states to always be pushing. So if you're in a red state right now, I want to be really clear on this. You don't just have the luxury of checking out and saying, well, you know what? Hey, I'm in Indiana. I'm in Iowa. I'm not in, Minnesota. I'm not in Illinois, these blue states. I'm telling you guys, if we don't, all of these states started out with freedom. And all of them were taken away bit by bit, day by day, because gun owners sat back and hoped for the best and did not stand up and demand their rights be acknowledged. And so if you're in a red state, you've got major fights coming up next session that can solidify even more of your freedom. And there needs to be an attitude in red America that there's just never enough. We're never satisfied. We're never done. We never give up. The main thing right now going forward in red states, if your red state already has constitutional carry, if you already have stand your ground law, and most every state, most red states have those right now, the big get for gun owners next session is always going to be the Second Amendment Preservation Act. We call it SAPA for short. Incidentally, this was passed. We did this in 2021 in Missouri, and this is the roadmap for freedom now in your red state. Short version is that the state tells Joe Biden, this is our state. Pick Iowa. This is Iowa. We protect gun rights in the Iowa Constitution. Iowa taxpayers hire Iowa cops to enforce Iowa law. We're not some vassal of the federal government, and our cops don't work for the DOJ. We defend the freedoms in Iowa. We uphold the law in Iowa. And when you assert SAPA like that, you tell Iowa cops to enforce Iowa laws. And what does that mean? Well, what it means is that all of Biden's federal gun control will go unenforced because the madman tyrant does not have the manpower to swarm into every city in red America and confiscate your pistol braces and grab your 80% lower receivers. That is the beauty behind this bill. We're not challenging what the feds can do. We're simply saying, hey, if you want to do it, you come do it. This is red America. We believe in freedom. You're not welcome here. And if you come in here to do this, we will damn sure not be helping you accomplish this. Missouri has led the path on this. We're going to be pushing on this, Patrick, as you know, all across America in 2023, Iowa, Georgia, Ohio, and Louisiana, even Colorado, blue Colorado. We're going to have Arizona. We've got a dozen or more states that we are directly involved in where we're seeing major pushes on SAPA next session. We can never be content with where we are. Our gun rights, either we're gaining ground or we're losing ground. There is no neutral for us.
Yeah, Aaron, I know I couldn't have said it better myself, but just listen to that. It got me fired up, guys. And if you're out there thinking, which organization should I join? Who should I be involved with? I know I see a bunch of guys out there like Ray Blankenship and Chris,
old school,
who are members of their state level organizations like Georgia Gun Owners. I'm seeing some Missouri guys out there all over the country. Yeah, but if you want to join up and not just fight in Georgia, but fight all over the country and help your brothers and sisters who are under duress, who are under serious attack, join up tonight with the American Firearms Association at joinafa.org. That link right here on the show, guys. Fast, simple, safe, secure. Joinafa.org. Get involved in the fight. Again, guys, we are talking specifically tonight about the state of Illinois under serious attack. 13 million people in that state. We've all heard of Illinois. There's a stat that I see all the time when I'm reading various economic things, that Illinois and California are two of the states that have the most net people leaving the state. But as I'm watching the hearing today, which was taking place in Chicago, there's 2.5 million FOID card holders. Yeah. That's the card you have to get in order to have a firearm or carry a firearm in the state of Illinois. So, yeah, if you're sitting in Georgia or you're sitting in somewhere across this country and you want to chip in a few bucks to help your brothers and sisters in the state of Illinois to fight this, then get in tonight at joinafa.org. We are spending big money all across the state, mobilizing tens and tens of thousands of gun owners against this bill. And if you want to lock arms with your brothers and sisters in arms, get in, guys, at joinafa.org. Guys, again, let us know where you're watching from down there in the comments. It's been a great show so far tonight. I'm seeing people from all over the country on here broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook all over the country. Aaron, do you have any other major points you want to make about this fight or anything that we're about to face here in the future?
No, we had committee action today in Springfield. We're going to see more committee action probably the minute we get past the Christmas break. They're going to be, the main focus here is going to be between January 4 and January 10 in Springfield. We may have teams on the ground there as well in the near future. We'll have to wait and see on that. But in the meantime, we are pouring all of our pressure to mobilize gun owners across the state to make their voice heard. Petitions, emails, calls, flooding the legislature with that pressure. And, people are saying, man, why do we call this person? Why that person? You have to call all of them. We talked with representatives yesterday in Springfield who were saying we're not even sure if every Republican is going to vote the right way on this. At the same time, they said we're not sure that every one of the Democrats want to vote for it because, as we know, some of these guys are in swing districts. And they're concerned about this because this is the kind of bill that could end careers. So we have to keep the pressure on. We cannot back down on this. I see folks watching right now from all across America, as you mentioned. I just want to echo your comments, Patrick. Well said. If you're in a free state right now, if you're in a red state right now, your friends, your brothers, your sisters in the blue states like Illinois, they need your help. It's time to join that fight. AFA has state programs all over the country right now, focusing on fights in your state as well. But we need to stand with our friends, our brothers, sisters in these blue states in battles like this. Join that fight. Get involved with AFA right now. We can help save freedom potentially in this state. And if not, pursue these battles in court. But we don't want to rely on the courts. And everyone says, these days it's just easy. We'll give it to them and we'll fix it all in court. Yeah, that's a great way to fix 20% of what's wrong with the bill and give the Democrats and give Pritzker the 80% he wanted.
Yeah,
we will not adopt that tactic. We'll go there if that's all we have left, but it's a losing tactic that we do not want to adopt.
Yeah, I mean, we go to court if we have to, but I have trouble trusting unelected men and women in black robes. I mean, just being straight with you, man. I mean, this is a constitutional republic, and even though Illinois is supposed to be, we elect people to vote on this stuff. And that's where our main focus is going to be here at the American Firearms Association. Guys, sneak peek tomorrow morning. Pay attention to your email. For those of y'all asking, I know there's a lot of y'all coming on board tonight as new members, but for those of y'all asking, pay attention to your email in the morning. We're going to give you an opportunity to chip into this fight in Illinois to help your brothers and sisters in arms there in the state of Illinois to fight this battle, guys. Great show, Aaron. I appreciate seeing all of y'all on here tonight from all 50 states across the country. Some people I know, some people I don't know. Share this video, like it, pass it around to family and friends. We're going to be on here quite often. Me, Aaron, Chris, Alex, Ben will be on here in the coming weeks, guys. A big year ahead in 2023. A lot of state battles, a lot of federal battles. We've got a close house. We have a Democrat-controlled Senate. We have a Democrat White House. So it's always hot in the Second Amendment world, as you guys know. So keep up the fight out there, guys. Aaron, any closing words here for the guys here?
Nope. Thanks a lot, folks, for your attention tonight. Keep involved in the fight. We'll get you more information, hopefully, in coming days. If we don't, in the next couple of days, Merry Christmas to everybody out here watching right now. Definitely. We talk a lot about family here because this is all about preserving these freedoms for the next generation like our parents, our grandparents did for us. Enjoy that time with your family, your friends. but the fight's not over. So redouble your efforts, recommit. We'll see you guys soon.
See you guys.